Today I have Prosecco because we're celebrating.
Yes.
We're celebrating, and I have an entire shrimp cocktail to myself.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. I was about to say, I almost had my margarita in a coffee mug because I knew you guys did that too. But I was like, "Oh, the pink ball."
We're non-discriminatory about our margarita vessels.
I
Exactly.
hear you.
So yeah, we're celebrating today because Jourdana's here and Elle is the ultimate party girl. I have to start this episode. I got to intro you, but
Yeah, we got to do that thing, but
I have to start by saying we have an idea of what we want to talk about today, but this is and we don't always script episodes. We have talking points we like to hit, but we usually have some sort of theme for each episode where we're like, hey, we're going to invite this person and we're going to talk about this. I just feel like we're going to have so much fun
Vibes.
together. This is going to be a great conversation. But welcome to Marks and Manuscripts, Jourdana Webber,
Hey.
best-selling author.
It was a surprise. It was a cool. I'll never forget that. So I was sitting. We were about to go get sushi, my husband and I, and it was release day. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the book on Amazon, watching it trend higher in the best-selling whatever. And I click on the audiobook and it says #1 contemporary fiction new release. And I screamed and my husband's like, what the fuck just happened? Are you okay? And I'm like, ah! And instead of talking to my husband, I called my best friend and I'm like, check Amazon. Do you see this? Is this real? Ah! And she looks, she goes, it's fucking real. And I'm like, oh my God.
What I love about that is that is such a big, huge, wide genre.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, so many books,
Yeah.
so many titles.
And it was for the audio. Well, I don't know how Amazon does all their shit, but it was I think it was for Audible, whatever. And it was #1.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm screenshotting this. This happened. It existed. And
now you're best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got the badge forever. Because I feel like people will play the game oh, I'm going to become a bestseller because even my book, I was like, I should be okay, my first genre will be contemporary women's fiction. And then I'll go to cultural friendship fiction and maybe I'll
Yes.
get #1 in that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I did that same shit. I was like, love triangle romance? Hell yeah, that is. Boom. And I did get really high in that one too. And then I was like, humor fiction. It's funny.
How many books could there be today in humor fiction coming up?
But I will warn you, are you guys going to have your books on KDP?
I will, yeah.
Okay. So you'll go through all this research and you'll put your categories and then you're going to look at your book and it's going to say number whatever in British humor fiction. You're like, I did not put British humor fiction, but roll with it. And so they kind of do their own shit too. And you're just and you can email support. 10 years later, they'll email you back and be like, no, it's what you said is there. And you're like, but okay.
Yeah.
So you just roll with it. With Amazon, you're just like, whatever.
Amazon, I swear, has its own take on the world of what matters in the world in that moment. I'm like,
100%.
We have a lot of indie authors that listen, a lot of people who are thinking about becoming an indie author. And something that's so intimidating is thinking about the marketing. I'm not talking about social media marketing. We did an episode on that. I'm talking about
the stuff
marketing
you don't know about
to actual readers, because we're all on social media. We all are trying to do the thing, but for me, I'm just really active in our community. And that's all my marketing is authors, bookstagram, aspiring writer, stuff like that. So to think of actually marketing out in the world
to libraries and
real
booksellers. Yeah.
Actual readers.
yes.
Is so intimidating to think of, and it's this whole other thing that is weighing down on me personally. And I think that's something you are murdering the game in. I just want to talk more on that and just kind of your journey in how did you
Who taught you?
how did you know what to do?
Okay, so straight up, the real shit is my ego is definitely a factor in this. I wanted to be traditionally published. And I've read some traditional books. I've been like, my book's fucking better than that. But
But
yet
not all of
nobody chose me. Nobody, and that's fine. There's always the future. But I try to mirror agents listening to me this are like, oh God. I try to mirror, traditional publishing already kind of developed the wheel. And so I was like, what are they doing that I have access to? Because a big difference, I think, in the two types of publishing is just access. Their PR and marketing teams are going to, know somebody at People Magazine, but maybe I'll fucking meet someone at People Magazine. I don't know. But I guess what I did is like, what are they doing? Where am I seeing books? And just cold calling and reaching out to Barnes and Noble and like different booksellers. It wasn't like, it was really just figuring it out. I'll ask a wall a question. And so like, if you just, if you just ask people, be like, talk about my book or whatnot. But I will say major credit goes to Dreamscape. So Dreamscape, they actually handle distribution for my audiobook. And I'm in their indie arm called Dreamscape Select. And so I still produce my audiobook. I do it with Lyric Audio. And like I take the product and give it to Dreamscape and they just put it out there in the world. Most of my library sales are all because of my audiobook and because of the access that Dreamscape has to like all those different things. I find that a lot of booksellers don't want to deal with Amazon. And so that's where Ingram comes into play. And then just getting reviews. I was like literally asking Google, like, what reviews can indie authors get? Like, where can I submit? And like, you can get Kirkus, you can get Publishers Weekly. It just depends on like if they accept you. And when your review gets published or approved, then that goes out to like libraries and people. But honestly, word of mouth has been like the biggest thing for me. People like it and then they post about it and then it just kind of like they find it. It's not Book Talk famous or anything yet, but yeah, honestly, the audio, like partnering with somebody, it's a lot about who you partner with. I don't know if that made any sense. I feel like I was rambling.
No, that was lovely.
Mm.
That was great. So explain to me like you were publishing your own, or not publishing, producing your own
Yes.
audiobook.
Yes.
Whoa.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, Jenna, you're gonna love this. I know you've
Please.
read Quicksilver. Now, have you listened to Quicksilver?
I've listened to Quicksilver. Yeah.
Stella Bloom is my narrator for Elle. And I loved Stella. I heard her voice and I was like,
How?
you can hire anybody you want. You can hire Big Five editors. You can hire narrators. Like, these people don't just work for like publishers. They work for the money. And so
yeah.
I emailed Stella directly and I was like, hey girl, like, will you can just go to their websites and you can also, so what I did, step one, I went to Audible and I listened to a bunch of female narrators and I was like, who do I like? Like, who's my vibe? And I found Stella and like a few others. And so I emailed them just straight up like, hey, this is my book, gave them a blurb, whatever. Well, Stella emailed me back and said, great. Many of them have the ability to self-produce, but with romance, there's a few different like little production houses, if you will, that they will produce your audiobook for you. And it's exceptional. I use Lyric Audio. There is One Night Stand Audio is phenomenal. And then, God, I can't think of the other one. It has a dog. A dog is the thing, but the mascot. But anyway, so she was like, reach out to one of them and then they'll contact me and we'll get this all done. I was like, okay. And so when I reached out to Lyric, they kind of like have a Zoom call with you, touch base, see if you fit their vibe. The book does. And then they took me on and they paired me with a producer, which, okay, my brain's going on a tangent. I have something fun to tell you about for book 2. And so that producer was like, there's different ways to do this, but if you have someone in mind already, then we don't need to do auditions. I was like, yes, I want Stella Bloom. And so she reached out to Stella and they just set it all, like they handle everything. And then they give you the files at the end. And then you can, I don't know how Audible works. I know some people will like exclusively do stuff with them. My biggest thing, and honestly, I am a huge Swiftie. I look up to Taylor Swift a ton with like this kind of thing. She wants her rights to her things. And since I'm not traditionally published, I want my rights. And so I did not give my rights to production or to Dreamscape. I kept them, so I paid for production of the audiobook. However, if money is an issue, you can say like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like 5 years. It depends on who you use. They have the rights for it, but you get royalties after you earn out or something like that. It's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't speak to it entirely because I didn't do that route. I was like, I'm keeping my rights. So then I paid for the audiobook and then I took it to Dreamscape, which you have to like, I reached out to them and then they kind of like, I can't think of the word, but they Zoom call you and they're like, are you a good fit? Da, 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 da. And I was. And so they took it and doing an audiobook was the single best decision. And my husband was like, you're going to pay $6,000 and you have no proof of market. You have no da 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 da. I was like, I want an audiobook. Like, I'm going to do an audiobook. I have that money. Like, and I don't mean that in like a bougie ass way. Like, oh, I have that money. But like, if I can do it, I'm going to do it. And that is where, like, in my first month alone, it was a little over 1,000 sales just in audiobooks, like units.
Wow.
And so the audiobook market is really, really hot. Like that's if you have the ability to do an audiobook in one way or the other, even if you do have to give your rights to like get it paid for to do it, like do it. Because most people, I'm an audiobook reader.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like that's how I consume half of my books.
Yeah. Same.
It's like, these are just trophies up here. Like, they're not.
Exactly. All of it. These are trophies. Like, I will never open them. Like, I will do like my e-reader if I have to. But other than that, like audiobook all the way.
The audiobook is like so fascinating to me. And you definitely like, you're the first person I've talked to who's done an audiobook as an indie author.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I was like, because I wasn't planning on doing it right away. But I mean, literally,
I wasn't
like,
either.
Yeah, like I was like, do I need it? And then you told me that, and then I was like, John, we need to set some time aside and do this
because you're an actor, right?
I'm an actor, and he owns a recording studio.
Yeah.
So it would be, we could do it when the kids go to bed. Like it would be pretty easy. But what I love about like what everything that you're saying. And it's something that we don't think about. I think we just take for granted is like just the power of asking. Because I think we get embarrassed and like a lot of us are not used to being in the driver's seat. You know, like I'm not used to using my resources and I don't even know, like I've never even thought about what resources I have available to me, like, or asking people for some, you know, and like putting myself out there in that way. So I think like you do such a great job at that.
Like this goes along perfectly like with our idea of why like we even made the podcast and why like we have our social platforms the way that we do is that we don't gatekeep. You ask and I will tell you. Like you ask and if you say like, hey, can you like share this in your stories? Like I'm like my novel's like coming out on Friday. We're like, yes, absolutely. Like you're part of our community. Like, of course.
Yeah.
And even just like to have and I love that everyone that we are engaging with like has like if they don't inherently have the tenacity, like they're growing into it and you can see it in their journeys and it's like one of like the most beautiful things ever. And then it makes you like on your really like crappy days, you're like, ah, shit, they're doing it. I need to do better.
This is crazy. And I'm going to shout her out because we're good friends. There's another Jourdana. She's a romance author. She is also Jewish. She is also from New Jersey. And so we connected on Instagram. It was crazy. And she goes, you're going to find that there's always someone that you're going to be like looking up to and be like, I want to be like that person. But then there's always someone else who's like, I want to be like you. And so it's like a really interesting perception of like, you don't think you're getting far. You don't think you've accomplished a lot, but there's someone who hasn't gotten there yet who's like, I want to do what they're doing.
Yeah, that's a nice like.
So book 2, where are you at? What's the deal?
Yeah, tell me.
I want the tea. I want the scoop on book 2. I love when we get a good scoop.
Okay, so book 2, do you want like the blurb of like what it is, or do you just want to like
anything?
Anything? Okay.
Anything you want to give us.
So Book 2 is about Addie, who's like a sunshine Broadway actress, and Gray, who is a poet trapped in the body of some finance guy, you know. And so she made a bet with her, or a pact with her best friend, who is Gray's younger brother, that by the time they're 30, if they're not married, they're going to marry each other. The catch is they both prefer men. And so obviously it won't work out in the end. So she goes on this trip, a birthday trip with his brother. And of course they hit it off because it's romance and it's really fun. I just submitted my developmental edits, like my big structural edits, back to my editor. And right now she's doing line edits and like any other little things. And I have my copy editing set up. Like everything is kind of ducks in a row and she's moving along. And I'm so like, I have character art, I have a cover, all because this is actually delayed a year. CSW, it's could have, should have, would have, actually, that's the name. It was supposed to be out this year. But I was a caregiver for my grandfather before he passed away, and like things got bad. So I had to postpone everything by like a year. And so it comes out April 13th, 2027. You've heard it here. Yeah.
Amazing.
And so, yeah, it's like killing me because I can't keep a secret. And so I'm like, I want to share my cover now. And everybody on my team, like Mark, they're like, no, like 5 months max. And I'm like, ah. And so, but yeah.
I have it. I want to
I
go
want,
like that.
I want to like
That was
talk
so
about
hard.
it. Like I love Gray so much. He's such a wife guy. And Addie is like a bad bitch that I want to be doing ballet and have a Tony Award and like all that shit. And it's just, it was so fun to write that I'm like everything in my brain. I just want to tell you everything. And it's just like, what do I say first? Book 3 is actually already basically outlined. And so I'm about to start working on, like, I'm working on the first draft. It's due December 1st, while I'm editing the other one. And I was trying to figure out, I was like, how the hell do people come out with like 2 or 3 books a year? Like what, like how? And
I don't know.
then
I don't know.
I figured kind of it out. It's because traditionally, like I'm talking about traditional authors, indie authors, God bless them. I don't know how they do it because the thing is, we do everything. We don't just write it. We, you know, we have to hire the people to help us get it to where it is, and formatting and ISBNs and copy. Literally, the list goes on and on and on. And that takes time. And so if you're traditionally published, I'm assuming you write, you send it to your editor, and you write, you send it to your editor. Like you're not the one out there making sure it's formatted and like people just give that to you.
Right.
And I might be talking out of my ass. Like if someone's traditionally published, like that's not how it works. Cool. Like that's what I thought. And so it's
Their
like,
timeline's so much longer too. Like they're like, my
yeah.
book's gonna be out in a year and a half, 2 years from like finish, I feel
Yeah.
like.
And so I was like, how can I, like, without burning myself out, publish multiple books? Like, I'm still trying to figure out what the secret sauce is. But right now, I'm like working on a first draft while I'm editing a different one. And I'm giving myself, I think, like an 18-month timeline between, because there's so much that you have to do and be like paying attention to through the process.
I love the thought of like having multiple, as an indie author, especially having, I mean, it's like going into a bakery and there's one thing you can buy.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to have 3 books on your shelf and so many different sources of like things you can pitch and like income and like
Yeah.
just things to sell. And like, I think that's so cool. And what we should strive for as indie authors is like, just do more. Like,
Well, and I think it comes down to like what are your goals, and like this is a big part of Elle, as you know, like what is success to you? And it's
Yeah.
not going to be the same as like what it is for me. For me, it was holding my finished book. If I sold 10 copies, great. 1,000, not that I don't give a shit, but like that wasn't the point. I'm a career author, like I have a whole plan, but to hold something in my hands that I created that is going to be whatever legacy when I am no longer here, that has always been my dream, my goal, my passion. And so the reason I'm so adamant, my husband's like, you left corporate America. Why are you doing this so corporate like? Why? I'm like, it has nothing to do with corporate America. It's the fact that I want to hold my books in like a bundle and be like, look at my babies in all bright colors, like Emily Henry. Like, it has nothing to do. you
But you have
know?
to think about it as a business. Like
Yeah.
it's a business.
It
At
is.
the end of the day, like you're a publishing company.
That's another thing I did. I actually created my own publishing company, and I learned about this. I went to the San Francisco Writers Conference 2 years ago. Oh shit, what's time? And I went to like different seminars, and they were like, at that point, I was like, I'm not self-publishing. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna get a deal. I'm gonna get an agent. It's gonna be great and dandy. And but I did hear this one thing, and it was like, if you're self-publishing, make an LLC and then make like a publishing company, like DBA or whatever, doing business as. Because if you're not pitching, I guess it's different now because everything's all online. Like if you want a bookstore to carry your book and stuff like that, they're not, it's more so like, is your book available on Amazon? You know, that kind of a thing. But back then it was like, if it had a publishing company, it's not just self-published. It was like it had a little bit of a different caliber, even though it was just a name. And honestly, that's what I've learned about with this whole process. Perception is everything. Like everything is an illusion. Someone can be selling X amount of books and like, was I a New York Times bestseller? Was I a USA Today? No, but I was still best selling. So then with Amazon, if you say best selling author, first of all, if you say I'm an author, oh my God. And why does everybody ask, well, who's your publisher? You don't even fucking know who the publishers are. Why are you asking me who the publishers are? Like, but like you say that
Like,
people.
what is that you attempting to vet me? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, so I'll be like, it's Everwild Publishing. To be like, oh, so cool. I'm like, isn't it? Yeah. And so, yeah, like I created my own publishing company. And I mean, not that I plan to ever do anything really with it, but that's who owns all the rights to my books is my company. So
Baller. Such good advice.
it was that one little session. I was like, okay, good to know. Good to know.
I mean, that's what happened to us. Yeah, we were at a
Yeah.
WFWA session with this woman who indie published, and I had never thought about it before that session. After a 1 hour session, I walked out and I was like, I think I want to
Doing
do
it.
that. I
Yeah.
want to do that.
Doing it.
She just made it a viable path. And that's what we say all the time on this is like a viable path that you don't consider.
Exactly. And so I think publishing is going to keep evolving. I think being self-published or indie isn't going to have the stigma that it still kind of has. I've experienced
Readers don't care.
Readers don't give a shit. They can't even tell. Like they have no idea. And I wanted people to read my story. I thought that I knew she had an audience and I knew how to market her. I knew what to do for my book. Honestly, I kept getting, like, I got a few Fools requests and none of it really went anywhere. And it was like, oh, well, I just don't know how to market it at this time. I'm like, I do.
Literally, I said those exact words on this podcast.
You have said those exact words.
Because you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I do. I believe in it. So maybe I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Can I tell them about Friday? Because this is gonna air after.
Yes.
Friday.
Yeah. And I have
know.
the thing. I have the thing to show and yeah, for sure.
Show
Yeah,
and
we have a thing. I'm gonna let you say it. You say it.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
Friday.
Well,
It's Friday.
first
Why am
of-
I drinking Prosecco and celebrating for you?
so Elle was chosen to be in Times Square. And so, hey, I know. Like, can you friggin' believe it? And so it's this Friday the 13th, and I am flying up to New York. And then Kate is taking this out of the group chat and she's going to come meet me in New York.
Yeah.
And we're going to like celebrate in Times Square. I actually cause it's such like a big deal. And it's like my debut and all that stuff. My friend knows a person who's a photographer. And so he's going to come do like a photo shoot. And I like anybody who's there, like take pictures. And it's a huge freaking deal. Because of this whole thing that happened, I actually on that day, so when this releases on the 17th, we'll open up a live link for a special edition to my book.
We got
the scoop. This is here live, well, pre-live. Yeah.
But it's time.
So it's the Times Square special edition for Unconventionally Elle, and it's going to have the sprayed edges. And there's an extremely limited run.
Dips.
Yeah. So
it's so cute. It's literally so cute.
thanks. So when this airs, she'll be available and it's first come, first serve. I'll send you the
Oh my
link
God.
so that you could like link it in however you link it in
Yeah.
podcasts. So they can go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll link it
In
on
the
the
show
post.
notes, there it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
Show notes, post,
Yeah.
all of
Because
it.
it'll be my website. But
Well, cheers, man. That's amazing.
Cheers! We're so proud of
Cheers.
you.
On International Women's Day. Can you
on
believe it?
indie authors can do it too.